Most of us playing games are legit, but some of us are willing to bend the rules a little and sometimes suffer outsized consequences for it. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 shady gamers who paid a huge price. Starting off at number 10, a guy who stole a knife, a red digital knife, is facing up to 8 years in jail. Now, the knife in question is fairly cool. I'm not going to say it's not, but I'm also not going to say that I think that it's worth $1,400, which is exactly how much this knife is apparently worth in the Czech Republic where this happened. Now, what happened was this unnamed gamer was supposed to pay about $1,400 for the collectible knife. Basically, okay, so this guy paid a deposit on the knife and got the item, and then didn't pay for the full price. Specifically, the deposit was $190, so a little more than 10%. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't think that any collectible knife is worth $190, even the deposit. So in some ways, I look at this and I go, well, this is the result of an utterly ridiculous digital economy. But at the same time, an agreed upon price is an agreed upon price. And yeah, I kind of hope he doesn't get 8 years. That's kind of ridiculous, but still. At number 9, a Brazilian Counter-Strike pro ran a online store as an influencer for a number of years, and apparently around 118 customers didn't get the goods that they purchased. Now, she was convicted and sentenced to 116 years in jail. Now, keeping in mind in Brazil, you can only serve up to 30 years of any jail sentence you receive, so that sounds a lot more severe than it is. Still, 30 years is a long, long time. However, she will not be arrested and will not go to jail until the appeals process has played out, which her ex-husband apparently has taken responsibility, and that definitely casts the entire case in a different light. Still, gaining influence in the Counter-Strike community, running an online shop as an influencer, and shorting a bunch of people on the stuff they bought sucks. It's definitely not something you want to hear about, but 30 years out of a person's life for that is also kind of insane. Like, just have them refund it and pay like damages of some kind. At number 8, 2 gamers got jail sentences for stealing about $6,400 worth of virtual items. Now, these aren't stiff sentences like the previous one, but they're still honestly a lot. 2 gamers by the names of Wang and Kai were sentenced to 2 years in prison and fined for cyber theft. Now, cyber theft sounds pretty cool if you ask me. However, it is apparently not a lucrative thing to get caught doing. From what I can gather with this thing, a couple of gamers got a hold of another guy's account information, and these guys made off with a bunch of online items and cashed out with them, which, as you know, requires some form of financial information. Seems like they didn't really buffer themselves very much between the incident and the payout. I mean, stealing from a fellow player is pretty low. At number 7, we found out that if you hack Pokemon and sell them, you can... I'm sorry, I'm laughing at this. You can end up in jail for it. Specifically, Pokemon Sword and Shield, as well as Pokemon Home, have the ability to sell Pokemon. Apparently, one guy doing this got caught and is actually in jail. See, apparently there is an act in Japan called the Unfair Competition Prevention Act. And, well, I really sincerely doubt that this somehow has, like, a specific purpose of stopping Pokemon hackers. I'm guessing the language is workable enough to weaponize against these Pokemon hackers. Now, apparently this guy hadn't just done like one. Like, he didn't just sell one hacked Pokemon. He had been selling many of them for like $42 a piece, $50 a piece, etc., etc. He made about $11,000 before they caught him and put him in jail. So keeping in mind exactly how much he did, just doing it once or twice probably isn't going to get you in major trouble, but it's probably not something to try to do. Also, like $40-50 isn't really worth pressing up against the law in that way, I don't think. At number 6, a Call of Duty gamer by the name of Casey Viner solicited a swatting call, which resulted in a death and got sentenced to 15 months in prison. Now, if you are unfamiliar, swatting is making a fake 911 call which gets police to respond with a SWAT team. You say something like, there's a hostage situation here, this person has a shotgun or a machine gun or assault rifle or whatever, and you basically prime the police to shoot the person in the house that you're targeting, which is what happened. Unfortunately, a man named Andrew Finch, who wasn't even the gamer that was targeted, it was a accidental former address given, was shot and killed, which is, it's not an uncommon result. They think that there's a kidnapping or a hostage situation or a shootout or something going on, and let's just be clear, they're freaked out going in. Yeah, I think that 15 months is actually kind of light for doing this kind of thing and killing someone with it. At number 5, a South Korean Overwatch player who was selling hacks and totaled in profit at around $180,000. Lordy. But it's because back in 2016, it became a criminal offense to create and distribute aimbots in South Korea. And a lot of the time, this resulted in fines of like tens of thousands of dollars, oftentimes ending in a probation. But this gentleman was particularly successful at it, making tons and tons of money, obviously. What would you do with $180,000? Oh, I can think of some things. At number 4, hey, remember the guy, Casey Viner, who got in trouble for swatting? Yeah, the guy that he contracted to do the swatting? Yeah, that guy got it much worse than Casey Viner got. I think Casey Viner personally probably should have gotten it much worse. But this guy got a 28-year sentence because he wasn't just implicated in this incident. He actually pled guilty to 51 federal charges of fake calls and threats, which landed him 20 years in jail. Now, I personally can't really come up with any good reason that this guy should be considered anything other than a huge slime ball, so I don't even want to say this is an outsized sentence. Like, 51 of these things, maybe not all of them were swattings, but swatting just sucks. It sucks so bad. At number 3, some Korean Overwatch hackers got arrested and were hit with $10,000 fines. Remember how I noted over in South Korea, several people had been fined tens of thousands of dollars for aimbots in various games? Well, I was talking about this. These weren't the only guys who got fined, but 13 Overwatch hackers were arrested in 2018, were fined $2,000, and 2 of them got probation. Now, it's actually a fairly low sentence for what the law possibly can dole out, giving a fine maximum of $50,000 and a maximum 5 years in prison. 10,000 in 2 years it's not fun, but way better than that. There was definitely some concern along the lines of the law being too broad and targeting more innocuous mods that don't mess up people's gameplay. But let's just be 100% clear here. Don't hack games. It makes the game suck for other people. Don't be a jerk. At number 2, the mastermind of a group of World of Warcraft hackers was sentenced to 2 years in a Chinese prison. These guys had hacked and defrauded over 10,000 Chinese gamers through a series of online transactions, according to the news in China. Basically, they coerced people out of login information and emptied out these accounts, i.e. accumulated gold, accumulated gear, for $3 per person. Now, thinking about the fact that they did this to like 10,000 people, they probably made at least $30,000, which is a pretty fair amount of money. Basically, they considered this flipping World of Warcraft accounts and started a company to do it. The main guy got 2 years in prison. These accounts were not willingly given over. They were coerced. It was bad. It was done under false pretenses. So yeah, that just sucks. And finally, at number 1, China cracked down pretty hard on PUBG cheaters back in 2018. This is being done at a mass scale. Tencent, the Chinese publisher of the game, you know who Tencent is and how much power they have. They are working with the country's police force to identify and arrest cheaters to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Do you remember cheating in games 20 years ago? If you weren't alive back then, I totally get it, but most games were single player and we were playing around in our rooms oh, you can jump really high or your head is big. And now you're getting arrested for an unfair advantage in a game that you are playing with other people and ruining the experience of, to be clear, but still. This has resulted in hundreds of arrests in China and it's just insane. I think it's maybe a little bit harsh. Ban people. Half of the PUBG player base is in China, and if they're terrified of cheating because they can get arrested, but everyone else in the entire world can cheat and not get arrested for it, well, get what I'm getting at? That's all for today, though. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. The best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe. Do not forget to click the notification bell. And as always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero. We'll see you next time right here on GameRanx.